playing Test cricket was always the number one, and it still is the number one dream. So
talk about just knocking over Virat, mate. Just tell us how easy it is.
yeah, for lots of those guys, there's never really an option to leave.
You're in contention to play for Australia.
Yeah.
David Warner's put his hand up for the selection again. That guy.
Yeah, that was nice of him, yeah. I think it's just to sort of watch this space and see what happens.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is summertime. Thank God, actually. About time we saw some sun. BackChat powered by Paywise. We have a cricketer in the house, and this man, I'll tell you what, I don't know when this is going to get released. Maybe he's got a baggy green in his hand next time we hear from him. I don't know. Doesn't right now, but maybe he does in the future. Aaron Hardie joins us on the podcast, mate. Great to see you.
And you guys, it's been a while.
It has been. Mate,
last time it was at Optus Stadium. Yeah,
Correct.
after a Scorchers game. I think you went huge as well.
Yeah, you went
They sent you
bonkers.
I
up.
think I slogged a few that day and
Yeah,
got
you
away with
did.
it,
yeah, very good, mate. Great to see you. I don't know if you're a fan of BackChat. I can only assume you are, but if
Yes.
you're not, just in case, we'll remind you. The first question to every guest is the same, right? Lots of us have done great things in sport. Dan's a fistballer.
Yeah, represented Australia playing fistball.
Played a bit of footy in my time. We know you can play cricket, right? We know you're representing your country, big hitter, big bowler, all-rounder,
Yeah.
superstar.
Just do it all.
We know you can play cricket, but we want to know your greatest sporting achievement not on the cricket pitch. Okay, yeah, you might have taken hat tricks. You might have tonked a few hundreds. Well done.
Yeah.
I was a under-8 hurdler back in the day. Dan was.
I've got a cricket story actually. Under 12s Stuart Hill Cricket Club bowled 5 for 16 in a grand final.
Nice.
Yes, look,
Nice.
impressive.
Yeah, lost the game.
So,
I'm still trying to figure out what fistball is, but we'll
Well,
go
we
on
can
with
come
that.
back to that. So, Aaron Hardie, thanks to TABtouch, your greatest sporting achievement not on the cricket pitch. What have you got for us back in school? I know you're an Aquinas boy.
Aquinas boy, yeah.
Wow.
Excited me a little bit, Dan. Aquinians, old boy.
Oh God, don't get me started.
Tell us.
I would say, actually not that long ago, year 12 football, Aquinas versus Scotch. There's footage of this as well to back it up.
Yes.
What used to happen is we'd play, myself and Cam Green, similar age groups, just good mates growing up playing cricket, and we'd play against each other playing football as well. Be in the forward line and sort of the last 5 minutes of every quarter get thrown into the ruck, and Greenie would just he was a beast. He'd be all over me, win every contest, everything. But we'd sort of have a mutual agreement, let's not knee each other, let's go off to the side sort of thing. You can win the tap, but let's not hurt each other.
Right.
And it got down to the wire in one game. And then the end of the fourth quarter, sort of up for a ruck contest, Greenie punches the ball, and then the video goes one way and then pans back maybe 30 seconds later, and there's Greenie on the floor, double calf cramp, and I'm running off the other way. So it sort of makes it look like I've just destroyed Greenie in the ruck.
Suck in Cam Green.
So that's probably my biggest achievement, is putting Cam Green.
So you were a
on
forward.
the floor.
Yes. Yeah.
Most goals kicked in the game. I mean, you're a big boy.
Yeah, strong.
Big man. I
think
can
I
see
got
you playing centre half
Pinch hitting
forward.
in the ruck.
Yeah. A 5 for or 6 for in a
Yeah.
school game,
Okay.
maybe.
Wow, we.
Is that
Was it-
Aquinas Scotch? That's one of the big ones?
Yeah, there's a couple of. I mean,
Big
there are a couple
rivalry?
of big footy schools. Was footy ever an option for you? Did you ever
Oh, way too slow. I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed playing footy. Hated training.
Yes, fair.
Yeah, I enjoyed playing footy.
That's good. You were born in the UK. So, look, I don't know if we need to address this or what. I didn't know that about you, mate.
Yeah.
Doing a bit of research, you weren't born in Australia. So,
No.
what's the story there? Your upbringing?
Mum and dad were. Dad's full blown Aussie.
Yep.
Mum's a bit of a hybrid South African, Fijian. They just were working in England at the time.
Yeah, right.
That's why I was born. We moved over here when I was 2. But we actually, a month ago, I was in England playing, and Dad sort of came for the first time to sort of come watch me play in England. And we went down. I was born in Bournemouth, which is South Coast. We had a game in Southampton, which is half an hour away. And because we moved over when we were 2, all of Dad's old stories about just him being an idiot sort of never really came out
Back in the day.
back in the day. And then all 20 of his mates came down to watch one of the games we were playing, and they just took him down after the game. So it was good to sort of go over there and get all the old stories of Dad when he was sort of in his prime.
So what was he doing? I don't know. What was he doing?
Oh,
Knocking back?
Dad always told me, he's mate, number 4 batsman, opening bowler. And these boys are Dad, Dad would have batted 12 if they were allowed to. So they annihilated him, which was so good to see.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So what's I don't know, what's life like growing up for you? Move over here as a baby, so I'm assuming you don't have much recollection of the UK. No. But what's it life like here? Sporty? You got siblings?
Yeah, I got 2 younger brothers. So certainly lots of backyard cricket, footy. We did everything. Played a bit of hockey. No fistball.
No fistball. Still time.
Hey, there is still
Yeah.
time. National
so
champs in December.
heaps of sports. Mum and Dad were chasing us around everywhere to all sorts of different sporting grounds.
Have you held the elder sibling kind of I'm better than you blokes type operation? Like does that hold through your family?
I think in the sporting domain, I think my youngest brother's probably the most athletic, but a bit too much PlayStation time to sort of take it too seriously. Middle brother, again, good. Plagued by injury, and then I was sort of the lucky one that didn't get Dad's knees.
Right.
So
was it always
play.
cricket then? Like as you said you played a bit of footy, but was cricket the one that you wanted to pursue as a career?
Yeah, don't know why I chose it, but when I was younger, it was always cricket for me. Footy was a means to sort of get through the winter and to get back to cricket season. So
who were the guys you were watching when you were younger that like sort of spurred you on to want to play
it was the classic. It was the Adam Gilchrist, Mike Hussey, Ricky Ponting, that sort of era.
Prime era,
yeah. Like 2005, 2006, those sort of Adam Gilchrist 100 off 56 balls at the whack. I was there that day, so that's probably what put me down the cricket path. That was pretty cool.
Do you think that cricket is kind of born into, like, I've just literally been the worst cricketer for as long as I can remember. I love watching it and all of that, but like no matter how hard I try, I could never play cricket. Do you think it's born into you a bit? Did you like, were you just playing cricket all the time? Like how do you become to your level of cricketing?
I reckon there's an element of like how young you get a bat put into your hands, like, that's something that you can't control. Like, Dad loves cricket, so I was always going to be playing cricket. But even you watch like Sean Marsh's kids when he's come down to the Wacker, and they're like 2 or 3, and like they're hitting 1,000 balls a day just because they're like bugging anyone to throw a ball at them, and like they're so much better than any other kid their age because they've basically been training since they're like one years old. So I think there's an element of that because I certainly know, like, you watch some bowlers try to pick up batting later on in their career, and like it's bloody hard to do.
Yeah. So you can do both, bowl and bat, bit of an all-rounder. Was, again, as a young person, I don't know, you hear the Don Bradman with the stump against the wall. Like, do you have stories like that? Do you remember times like that where you're just walking around the hallway smacking a cricket ball around? Like,
you're walking around the coals, like bowling, just like bowling techniques.
Shining apples as usual.
Yeah, shining apples, yeah. I think like everyone sort of had like the cricket ball on a sock tied to the roof, and just like hitting it for hours and hours on end. So I think like, that was for me, cricket ball on a sock.
Yeah, but I have one of those. Not playing for Australia.
Yeah.
You've got this like sort of uncoordinatedness about you though with cricket.
Oh, with most things.
No, but footy, like you've got it there. But like, I don't know, you're sort of like long-legged zebra areas in cricket.
No, thanks, Dan. I
Don't know
appreciate that.
what that is.
Really appreciate
What
that.
what was your junior cricket like? Were you just dominating? Yeah, you're a bigger guy. So was that always the case in the younger years as well?
Not like, I was obviously wasn't this big when I was younger. Like I wasn't like massive for my age growing up. Always sort of played a couple age groups higher, but like just loved playing cricket. Like remember getting like 25 not out in like under 12s or something like that. That was like a massive achievement. So like remember those sort of moments. But I don't have heaps of memories of like playing really young because I think like no highlights stand out. You're sort of just playing with your mates.
Yeah.
Like I said before, like I was there for that Adam Gilchrist day, and that was when, like you're like when you're 6 or 7 and you play Have a Go, I think it was called.
Yeah.
Our day to play on the Wacker was the day that Gilly got the 100. So that's one of my early memories of cricket, which is pretty cool.
Oh, so you're out in the middle that day, pretty much.
Yeah, so like at the lunch break while the players are all off, like you get to run out. Everyone probably gets to hit like 3 balls, and you just like it's an absolute chaos.
Yeah.
But that was the day that Gilly made the 100, so that was pretty cool.
Have you met Gilly?
I have, I haven't told him that, but
really,
I do
he'd
one
love
day.
that.
Yeah, he probably would. Yeah, any excuse to bring up 100 off 50
that's
balls.
right.
How tall are you now?
I'm 6'4".
Right. So, okay. Like, does that help bowling, batting, being taller? Is it just what you are? Like, do you think like that? You know, we see all these fast bowlers and the levers you've got when you're taller. Clearly, that helps.
Yeah, I think being tall definitely helps to bowl.
Yeah.
Like I was more of a batsman growing up, and then like you start growing around like year 10, 11, and coaches sort of like throw the ball like no more bowling spin, buddy. You got to you got to bend the back now.
So did you shoot up around? Like, did you have a bit fair growth spurt?
Yeah, I reckon like year 10, 11 sort of shot up a bit.
Right. And then when do you start playing? First grade cricket here in WA.
I played my first grade game when I was 15. Then when I was 17, I was playing third grade. Just had a bit of a form slump, 2-year form slump. And then sort of like after that, finished school, sort of started playing like under 19s and that sort of stuff. And then, from there, I was under 19s into sort of the WACA pathway.
How does that pathway work? You get, like, do people start rocking up to your games and watching you play, or do you just, because with cricket, you can your scores can sort of tell the story a little bit. Yeah. So, I mean, it did start before the under 19s. Like they're sort of in the program for under 15s and 17s and 19s. You sort of know who the good cricketers are by a pretty young age. But yeah, you're right. It's just runs and wickets are the only sort of currency in cricket. So it can be pretty easy sometimes to sort of tell who's going to get picked. Yeah.
You mentioned Cam Green as a guy at your age here in Western Australia. Is there other guys that are progressed their cricket to a pretty significant level that you grew up with and played against that we know?
Yeah, definitely. I think sort of coming through as a guy who we played against last week called Brad Hope. He was sort of our age group. Again, another all-rounder. So he sort of had to find somewhere else to sort of play his cricket because there's so many sort of Mitch, Marcus Stoinis, Greeny, as all-rounders in WA. So he's doing really well with his cricket. And then, sort of across Australia, there's a number of blokes in our under-19s because, Greeny and I didn't play. I was under-19s. We weren't selected. So plenty of those boys are doing really good things around the country.
Do you think about, not getting selected? Is that... Oh, clearly you do. You're just getting a little...
Yeah, it was a bit of like a chip on the shoulder sort of thing for the next couple of years.
So is that positive? Like, can that be a positive thing?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Like those boys, I think at the time, those boys deserve to be picked in the team. Like if you look at on paper, like we spoke about, they'd made more runs and won more games than we'd done. So they certainly deserved it at the time, but I think it sort of motivated us to go and get even better.
With the limited spots that you're talking about with all-rounders, do you ever, like throughout your career, think like maybe it's just easier if you just pick one thing and go hard with that so that you're not fighting amongst such a small amount of people to get a spot with?
Yeah, most days. I think, being an all-rounder certainly has its challenges. But then I sort of, then if I miss out, like I might not be playing next week. So nice to just have both of the there to call upon.
In other sports, when you go from playing against kids your own age to adults, so you say you sort of start playing first grade cricket at 15, is that a big step up, like playing against men? Like, do you think, oh shit, this is a step up? Balls are coming quicker. You're getting smacked further, I'm assuming.
Yeah, definitely. And the chirp's a bit better. I think like our generation's probably the first generation where like real chirp and like sort of the banter on the field was not as personal. It's a bit more woke now. Cricket's a bit more woke. So I was a bit worried about that sort of when I first started playing men's cricket.
But do you like to run your mouth a bit?
No, I'm the opposite. That's why I'm like, oh, please don't come at me.
So you got 35-year-old blokes and you're at the crease.
15-year-old, I'm like, oh no, please don't.
Please be easy on me.
Yeah, please go easy on me. So I think, that was certainly a concern playing first grade when I was younger.
Does that sort of stuff happen at an international level? Like you said, it's probably getting less and less now. Probably microphones on stumps are getting a little bit better. And there's never been more coverage, but is there still yap out there? Like, is there still people on the yaps?
There's a bit of chirp, but like you said, the stump mics are a bit louder, and people like to keep their money in their pockets rather than going to the match ref. So there's not too much chirp out there anymore. It's all, let's call it encouragement.
Do you have any specific memories as a young fella against senior players? Just thinking, like here we go, like this is the big leg here, or do you have any moments?
Like a welcome to cricket sort of thing.
Like someone bouncing you, or someone just skittling out.
I remember one of my early first grade games playing against Darcy Short, and like you put it cover, so I was sort of like a bit further back than you'd normally be at cover because I knew the ball was going to come pretty hard, and like the captain's like, a bit closer in there, Hards. So I took like 2 baby steps, and he just like kept pushing me in even closer and closer. And yeah, I was shitting myself at that point. But yeah, it's just funny looking back at those sort of moments.
You debuted for, I'm assuming the Scorchers, but your BBL debut was at the MCG.
Yes, yeah.
That was for the Scorchers, right?
Yeah.
What's that like? I mean, you grow up, you're talking about Ponting and Gilchrist and all these guys playing, and then your first game in the BBL is at the home of world cricket.
Yeah,
MCG.
that was crazy. That was a real blur. Yeah, like that was the longest 20 overs of my life, like running around, felt so lost. And I hadn't, that was my first ever professional game. I hadn't played for WA or anything like that.
Is that right?
So yeah, that was crazy. I remember like walking down in the morning across one of the bridges in Melbourne, the one where like the Yarra goes down and you can see the MCG in the background. And like I didn't know Melbourne very well, so I'd walked across it. I was like, "Oh shit, there's the MCG." And like my stomach, it was horrible. But I look back, it was a really cool experience, and like everyone was super. We're very lucky at the Scorchers have so many like good senior players and leaders.
Yeah. What's it like walking out in the middle? I'm assuming you had a bat.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't have a bat. Thank goodness. Yeah. And I bowled 1 over. And we won. So
what's it like being out there though? Like you must be looking around at the stands, just going like, "What? Like this is ridiculous."
Yeah, it was very much like that. Yeah, it was crazy. Fielding is when I was younger was always like the scariest part because if you're batting and you get out, it's all right. Like no one's like, it's fine. I'm going to be in the sheds. Whereas like fielding was always like the scariest because there's just so many variables. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
Like we've all seen it before where like someone's out at deep square leg and the ball just keeps going to them and like they drop a catch early and like then the ball will go to them for the rest of the game and the crowd's just always into them. So lucky I survived that day with no fielding blunders or anything like that.
What's the Scorchers, I don't know, to be such a successful side over a decent, like a long period of time and won a lot of championships, been up near the top, what is that? Like you've been involved in that club for a significant amount of time. Like what makes it good?
I think, the leaders that we got, Ashton Turner is massive for us. And then the senior players that we've got around that, like your Josh Inglis, sort of go back a little bit, Karen Bancroft, Mitch Marsh, Andrew Ty, Jason Berendorf, they just love living in Perth and playing for Perth. Pretty much as simple as that. Like so many opportunities for them to go and play elsewhere over the past 10, 15 years. But they just love living and playing in Perth. I think it's as simple as that. They love used to playing at the Wacker and the support that we get there and that's transferred across to Optus. So I think like for lots of those guys, was never really an option to leave.
Is there a bit of an old boys crew there? I mean, those blokes you're listening now, like that, AJ's getting a couple of greys now, AJ, and he's carrying on. Is there a bit of a crew there that, not in a good way, like the senior boys, this is how we do it. This is the way we're a winning culture.
AJ's probably like closer to the 18-year-olds coming through, to be honest, in the way he goes about it.
I know he's a big BackChat fan, so I'm sure he'll love the shout.
Yeah, he'll love that. No, they're just I know there's so much banter that goes on, but when push comes to shove, I think everyone just trusts the rest of the team. Everyone's been there before. We've had so much success, and I think when you see someone like Cooper Connolly coming in to an environment where there's so much trust in what everyone's been able to do, it certainly helps to sort of relax and back your own game.
Last season, we were at all the home games and, we were there pretty early and seeing all the boys warm up. And I swear every time we looked down to see the warm-ups happening, AJ was just in the stands, like signing autographs and stuff, just making his way around the edges.
Yeah, with the bucket hat on. Every year we get like an option, like a really cool, like flannel or something like cool. And then somehow his vote must count for like 20 because every year we get a bucket hat. He's the only one who wears it.
Cricket warm-ups go for a long time. I don't know if we spoke to you about this when we last spoke to you, but yeah, like Dan said, we get there early. You blokes are out there, you're fielding, you're doing arm practice, you're bowling, you're batting.
It's like keep you up with a soccer ball for a while.
You're doing high knees, you're doing push-ups, you're rolling around the ground. Like, what's going on out
then
there?
we go sit down for an hour and a half, wait to bat. So,
Yeah.
well, we're always into the strength and conditioning guys about like, why don't we just warm up once when we're about to go and do our thing? Like,
Yeah.
But no, we just don't change a winning formula, I suppose.
It's impressive.
Yeah. AJ is like I said, one of the older guys there. Mitch Marsh, one of our favourites, been on BackChat as well. What's your sort of what's he like to be around for you?
Yeah, Mitch is an absolute legend. Like, you don't have to look very far on social media or anything like to see sort of the value that he gives in the change rooms. He's hilarious, and he's awesome to have around the change rooms.
Talk to us about the first time you played for your country. What's that like?
Yeah, it was again crazy. Yeah, I was in South Africa last year, which was awesome. Which, like I said before, that's where Mum's from. So, Granddad was there. He was 98 at the time.
Wow.
So, yeah, we went and saw him a couple of days beforehand, and then sort of played. Yeah, had the 2020 and similar sort of feelings to like the MCG debut. It was just all a bit of a blur, but it was an incredible honour.
So, Baggy Green's the test side. Does the 2020? Do you get like a little pin in the thing? Like, you get just a cap?
You get the playing cap. That's about it.
The player number.
Yeah, I got tested on this the other day. I'm useless at these sort of things. Like,
fair.
Don't know my playing number. I got fined for that actually.
Did you? Fined in what regard? You got fines?
Just
who's the fines master?
It changes week by week, but actually Adam Voge just asked me. We do this thing like.
Is it Scorchers?
This is like the Wacker pre-season sort of thing. Like every week we'll do fines like this. He left his water bottle, he left his boots, blah, blah, blah.
Great.
And then one of the punishments is you got to roll the dice. And like number 5 is a trivia question about one of your teammates.
Terrific.
And the guy who normally asks the trivia questions wasn't there. So like just on the spot, V was like, "Oh, what's Hard's T20 playing cap number?" These guys like, "Oh, don't know." He took a stab in the dark. Then V looked at me. I was like, "What?" I don't know. So I ended up getting fined for that.
That's bloody good.
What are the fines like? How much are you paying?
That was $1. So
it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's just $1 and a dart.
Yeah.
I like the fact you still got fines. That's
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
That's culture stuff. What's
cricket still has fines. Like most teams will have a fines session.
Good.
Club cricket, state cricket.
Great.
Fine sessions. Yeah.
Adam Voges, what's he like? He's been doing wonders, really.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it. How do you find him?
Yeah, he's awesome. He's certainly the most committed coach I've had in terms of like helping out around the group, match preparation. He certainly bleeds the black and the blue, the black and the yellow that we talk about at the Wacker. So yeah, most committed coach I've ever had.
Can we go to 2018? You played against India, and you had a pretty good scalp there with a wicket. Talk us through playing against India.
Talk about just knocking over Virat, mate. Just tell us how easy it is.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny. Yeah. The ball before I like, over pitch, bowled a half volley and like clipped it to 4, like the hardest clip I've ever seen. And I pretty much bowled the exact same ball the next ball. Like, I reckon he just got bored. He's like, try hit this one straight. And like, he gave me a caught and bowled, like caught it in between my arms here. And then I was like so psyched, and then I went back and like saw the footage of it, and I'd like caught it here and tried to like, and then just picked the ball up and threw it to the square leg umpire, like trying to play it off like real cool. But if you knew what was going on, like I was full panic station at that point. Like I had bowled like 5 overs and gone for 40, I reckon, in like a red ball game.
Yeah.
What a story, mate.
It was cool.
What dreams are made of.
Yeah, getting Virat Kohli, that was pretty cool.
Getting spanked around the park and then catching Virat in your forearms.
Yeah, I think the ball caught me. I didn't do much to catch him.
What's the mental game there like when you're bowling against someone like him, especially in long form? Are you just trying to get him out every ball, or like
ideally,
what's the approach?
It starts off like that for the first couple overs, and then I mean, as a bowler, you just sort of your strengths, and you just try and figure a way to get him out. And we were all really young at that point, and we had a planning meeting beforehand, and it was sort of like Virat Kohli averages 60, like Aaron Hardie averages like 40 with the ball playing like club cricket. And he's like, mate, I don't remember who the coach was, but he's like, I think he just falls over a little bit. Like if we want to go couple wide and then angle on into the pads, that might be how we get him out. And we're all like there, like lapping it up, like, yeah. Virat, Kohli, like we're all like 18, 17. But pretty optimistic from the coach, I think.
Do you change, do tactics change from the different forms of the game? I mean, clearly they do, 2020, one day and test. How hard's that for you as an all-rounder who's kind of trying to do both, and you're batting, you're bowling, and, in a 2020 you're getting 4 overs, whereas you come in as a bowler in a test team and you're bowling a lot more than that. How does that go for you from a mindset point of view and shifting sort of what that looks like?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge in cricket at the moment, is trying to be a 3-format player. How do you go from on the Tuesday, like trying to play the perfect forward defence, to the Friday trying to hit the exact same ball 120 metres out of Optus Stadium?
Yeah.
So I think, it's something that I'm still working on, something that I'm sure a lot of people are still working on. I don't really have a great answer for you, but I think obviously there's lots of little technical changes that go between the games. And then, it's just about going out there with a real clear game plan. But I definitely think the mental and the physical side of being like 2020s, you're probably hitting your sprinting, running 10, 15 times a game, whereas in the Shield cricket, I'm sort of just jogging around for 4 days. So there's certainly massive differences, and I think that is one of the massive challenges at the moment.
But we were chatting just before we started this, and you're playing Shield cricket now, and then you're going to play one day as an international. Like you must be able to adjust almost day to day what you're about to do, right? Like you must have to completely reset before the game. It's not like other sports where like I'm just going to go play AFL and I'm playing a different opponent, but I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah.
To wake up on a Monday and you're playing with red ball and then you're playing with a white trying to smack it. You must be able to kind of flick the switch a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I think one thing that's helped me personally is sort of just trusting that you've done good before in this red ball game. You've done well before in a white ball game. You don't have to sort of overcomplicate it. Actually just trust that you've done the work. Yes. You're not going to change everything with like a quick hit before the game sort of thing, practicing slogging it again. So actually just trusting and knowing that you've done well in 2020s before, so you've got 2020 in 2 weeks, you'll probably be okay if you just sort of go out there with the right mindset.
Where do you reckon your strength is? Which format of the game?
I still love playing all three. It's a bit of a fence-sitting answer, but 2020s is certainly very fun to play. And it's like a bit more Hollywood. You go to Optus and there's 40,000 people there. That's always good fun. But growing up, like red ball cricket is sort of still the highest honour. So I love playing all formats at the moment still.
So talking about your good mate Greeny, who absolutely double calf cramped back Qantas v Scotch. He's out injured at the moment. There's been plenty of chat about you as a potential replacement. Where do you sit with all that? I know you're going to just roll out before you even start. Know what's coming. We got the absolute media trained Aaron Hardie going to give us one straight through the covers here. But I want to know how you're feeling about all that chat, because your name's in. You're in contention to play for Australia.
Yeah,
I don't think you can deny that, can we?
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm pumped. Yeah. Sad for Greeny. I was with him when he hurt his back, and real close mates. So in contact with him. He's sipping oat lattes in Christchurch now, recovering from the surgery. But no, I'd love to. It would be an absolute childhood dream. Like playing for Australia in 2020s and playing for the Scorchers was always a dream, but playing Test cricket was always the number one, and still is the number one dream. So I think it's just to sort of watch this space and see what happens. But yeah, I would absolutely love to.
Because they played Greeny as an all-rounder, but with him batting at 4, whereas batting, effectively you're in as a batter, right?
Yeah.
That can bowl.
Yeah.
Do you see, if you did get an opportunity, is that the sort of role you'd like to play, more of a batting bowler rather than a bowling batter? I don't know.
Batting all-rounder or bowling all-rounder, the technical terms. I still see myself as a batting all-rounder.
Yeah.
I certainly put a lot more time into my batting. So eventually I would love to get up the order and bat at that 4. Think everything's changed a bit now that they're going to need a new opening partner. So probably cuts the balance of the team down to just the one all-rounder. But who's to say that things might change in that space? So
who's that now? Marshy? No.
Yeah. So I'm not in the selection meetings, but yeah, I think Mitch will probably start as that all-rounder, and then the big three pace bowlers, their workloads will probably be a bit higher, but yeah, who knows? 5 tests is a long time.
Must be exciting anyway, just to be in a position awesome. Where you're even considered.
Yeah, it's awesome to have your name sort of thrown around for that. Certainly not something that I would have thought to be possible 5 or 6 years ago. So yeah, it's super exciting.
Just seen as well, David Warner's put his hand up for selection again. That guy,
that was nice of him. Yeah,
he's still retired.
Have you put your hand up?
I may as well if Warner's doing it. Can you tell us about playing in America? Because that's obviously baseball's huge there, and it feels like cricket is only one step removed for them to sort of get involved in it. What was that sort of being involved in an early competition like that?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think there was this competition second year. I think last year was potentially nets a little bit underdone, all that sort of stuff. Whereas this year I went over and everything was really good. The stadium that we played at,
the Texas Super Kings.
Good name.
Yeah, that's me. So we're playing. All the games are in Dallas, basically. Really good stadium there, really good pitch. So yeah, it was awesome.
The crowds get around it like.
The crowds weren't massive, although at the Super Kings they did feel big because, we were the home team because we're a Texas-based team. But then it was also someone's idea to our slogan was "Whistle for Texas," so everyone who come through the gates gets a whistle.
So it was like the vuvuzelas at the Brazilian Olympics.
So I think we had 4,000 people there, but it sounded like there was 30,000 people.
Everyone's on the whistle.
Yeah. So it's sort of the crowds were there. The numbers weren't there, but the volume certainly was.
Yeah. Well, now you're amongst some of the biggest sporting clubs in the world: the Texas Rangers, Dallas Cowboys, Texas Super Kings.
Yeah,
you're in that sort of fraternity of Texas teams.
Yeah.
They must have their facilities there must be incredible, right? Because they've got so much money going around.
Yeah, I'm sure the football and the basketball teams have incredible facilities. The cricket, the cricket is still growing, but I believe they're putting stadiums in. I think there's one going up in Florida and California and all that sort of stuff. So it's growing pretty quickly by the sounds of it.
Because what are the pitches that you'd be playing on? Because baseball's like a weird shape, football's square.
No, they're all cricket stadiums.
Right.
So this one is a designated cricket stadium.
Wow.
So they played a few games there in the World Cup.
Yeah.
They played in New York in the World Cup as well. That was temporary. They just put up some stands in a park in New York and put a cricket pitch in there. So that was a temporary stadium. But yeah, they're building. Like you said, you can't really play on any other other ground. So they're going all in, which is pretty exciting.
That's cool. What's the life for the shorter part of the game? With the Texas Super Kings, and we've got the IPL, and then you got the Caribbean Super League, and then you got the Bangladesh.
There's something called the 100, isn't there?
The 100. That's the English competition.
There's the 100. There's the 40. There's the 60. There's the 80.
Popping up every day.
What do you think about that? Do you want to play in lots? I mean, AJ Ty, give him another mention. His rap sheet on teams he's played for.
Yeah. He was in the Cayman Islands a couple of weeks ago, and Canada competition is now live, and there's a Zimbabwe competition. Nepal. So it's going.
Laurie Evans played at an Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, that one's been around for a little bit now. So yeah, there's all sorts going on. I think it's awesome. Is people who are not necessarily mainstays in Australian domestic cricket are playing these leagues in the off season, and it's only going to make them better players, and more people are talking about cricket around the world. So. I think it's awesome.
IPL? Have you played the IPL?
I haven't. No, not yet.
Desires?
Yeah, I'd love to.
How does that actually work? Do you need to nominate for a draft? You clearly need to play good cricket.
Yeah, so the IPL is an auction. So everyone's name goes in auction.
Just everyone's in there? I guess Dan in there, right?
Yeah. I hope I'm in there.
Yeah, from what I know, you nominate and then the team either goes, Dan, maybe next year. You're someone else. You're through.
Maybe in another life.
Yeah,
3 million.
Right. So, when does that when does that happen?
So the auction is late January.
How do we push your case? How do we here at BackChat just start You know,
get on the Super Kings. Get on the Super Kings Instagram.
Okay.
Right. All right.
Do we think we can? Should we start a campaign up? Get Aaron Hardie. Get Aaron Hardie.
Get him drafted. Get him paid. Absolutely. Do the Australian? I mean, you're not on the selection committee, obviously, but do the selectors look at that as well? Like, do they want guys going around to other tournaments and playing as much cricket as possible?
I think it depends what the tournament is. I think,
I
think the IPL is like, that's still like the top.
Yeah.
That's like the best players in the world all going to India for 2 months and playing 2020. So there's no doubt that if you perform well in that, it certainly helps you to get into Australian colours. Like Jake Fraser-McGurk last year went to the IPL and performed really well. So I think they're certainly looking at those competitions.
Not like the European Cricket League.
Yeah, if you make 100 off 20 balls in the European Cricket League, maybe not so much.
Some of those videos are funny.
What's the schedule look like for you? So we're sort of towards November now. What's the summer look like for you? Aspirations? What do you want it to look like this summer coming up?
Yeah, so next we got a game tomorrow against Tassie in the one day cup. And then next week, I'm joining up with the Aussies for some 3 one-dayers against Pakistan.
Awesome.
And then, after that, it's a bit up in the air. So we'll see.
Yep. And Scorchers, that'll kick off in December.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's right.
December 15.
Yeah, correct.
Versus the Stars at Optus. We get the first game of the season. So
putting together a strong squad again, I've seen.
Yep. Got some good international signings. Finn Allen at the top of the order. He goes very hard, so he'll be very exciting to watch.
Is that right?
Yep. So 4 over power play, none for 50 maybe.
Where are you going to be batting?
Probably slide in at 3 again.
Great.
Yep. I can take the shine off it and I'll come in after that again.
What about, so you'll come in at number 3 and I'm sure we have That's Amore playing again as your walkout song.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I'm going to change That's Amore.
Really? It's iconic.
Yeah, it was iconic for a little bit, but a bit more Atmos this year, I think.
Right. What was the story behind That's Amore? Or you just liked it?
Oh, it's like for the past 3 or 4 years, they'd sort of, what do you want your walkout song to be? So then I'd spend a day thinking about what my walkout song should be and send it through. And then you wouldn't get your walkout song. You just get whatever. So then last year they said, well, what do you want your walkout song to be? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Just put a stupid song out there. Right. And then I walked out the first time and then That's Amore's playing. I was like, oh no. And then I made runs the first game.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I can't change it.
Yeah.
But this year maybe a bit more vibe for the crowd. A bit more atmosphere.
Any give us a little.
No giveaways.
No giveaways.
Is that right? Okay. Well, talking about superstitions a little bit, didn't your first cricket bat after a 50 just get chomped on by?
Got eaten by.
Whose dog?
My dog. Yeah.
So you've pulled out the dog ate my homework.
Yeah, dog ate my cricket bat. Yeah, it doesn't quite work the same because I actually wanted that cricket bat.
What bat? And what happened?
It was an old sledging bat. Dad got it from a fire sale and I've been waiting. He got it when I was real young. It was way too heavy for me. So I've been waiting for years to use this thing. Used it first time, got 50, was obsessed with it. Obsessed with cricket, obsessed with the bat. So then had a hit at the nets the next day. We used to live right opposite the net, so we'd go down there all the time. Came back and then was again hitting balls, the ball in the sock, just obsessed with this bat. Put the bat back down next to where the ball in the sock was, and then went back the next day and it was done. It was in pieces.
You've been chomped to pieces. So what dog do you have?
No longer usable. It was a retriever.
Absolutely destroyed the bat.
Took it down, yeah.
They say about, if you leave your keys out and a kid drives your car, it's not the kid's fault. It's the person's fault for leaving the keys out. It's probably, you can't blame the retriever.
Yeah, and I knew, that dog was obsessed with sticks. I was like, surely you can tell the difference between a branch straight off the tree and a cashmere willow sledging. But obviously it's all the same to the dog.
Anything but the sledging.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can go back to the Scorchers, 2021, 2022 grand final win. You were in that team, but you didn't play in the squad.
Yes.
You're the X Factor.
The X Factor.
The X Factor.
Yeah.
Still got a medal.
Still got the medal. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you talk us through the X Factor thing and sort of how that day played out?
Yeah. The X Factor was, you start with your 11. There's 2 named X factors, and then at the 10 over mark in the first innings, you can sort of be subbed in.
Super sub,
but someone else has to get subbed out. So it's sort of like a bit awkward. Like, thanks, mate. Like, I'm now replacing you. Like, should have bowled a better over, sort of thing. So that was there. I think it was for 1 or 2 seasons. I don't think it went overly well. But like the X factor would, for us, for the Scorchers, some people would like bowl 1 over. That was tactics, and then sub on. But the Scorchers, we never used our X factor. Like, never used it. So you'd found out your X factor. You're like, great, whatever, not playing.
Yeah.
And then in the final, we batted first, and we were like 4 for 20 or something ridiculous. And I was like the batting X factor. So I was like, I'm going to be the first ever X factor here in a grand final. Like, should probably like. So then I sort of went into the change room, started warming up a bit, and like if we'd lost another wicket before the 10th over, I reckon we'd lost 4 wickets in the first 5 overs. So if we'd lost I got told if we'd lost another wicket before the 10 over mark, I was going to get X factored in. So I was in the change rooms getting ready to go, and then Laurie Evans and Ashton Turner just basically batted for the next 10, 15 overs and
smacked them,
like unbelievable batting. Which like it would have been awesome to play in that game, but at the time I was pretty relieved that I didn't get X factored straight into the grand final.
Yeah,
does the umpire like pull out the? Like,
big X on the screen or something.
They should have done something like that. I think
that's Amore just comes blasting.
Yeah, that's Amore.
Mate, I reckon you've heard enough from Dan and I. Lots of questions coming at you, but we put it out to our listeners, and they've submitted some questions for you. So if you got time for a couple more, it is time for social media. Yes, that is right. Not social media, social. Calm down, Aaron. Don't get too excited. That is right. Social media coming at you. Let's get into it. Will Robbo will kick us off.
Best wicket you've gotten in senior cricket?
Senior cricket. Virat Kohli?
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Ever taken a hat-trick?
No.
Never taken a hat-trick?
No.
Been on 2 in a row?
Yes, many times. Then the next ball's normally like nowhere near where it needs to be.
Yeah, great.
Luke Obi.
Your favourite big time knock?
Favourite big time knock? Oh, the Shield final. The first Shield final that we won. That was pretty good.
Talk us through it.
We hadn't won a Shield final in 23 years. So there was like a lot of hype around this game at the Wacker, and I made 174, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just about 174.
174.
Off heaps.
Of heaps.
A bit boring, a bit slow, but kept them out there.
Right.
We just needed to draw the game, so I was like, I'm just going to keep batting time.
I like that a lot. I like this question. Max Watkins could be the question of the day, actually.
Okay, rank these 4 all-rounders in terms of bowling. Green, Marsh, Cartwright, and yourself.
Ooh. I'll put Greenie at the top just because he's the fastest of us all.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
Like you said, Mitch hasn't bowled a ball for a little bit. So I'll go number 2.
Great.
Yeah.
Mitch can go 3, and Hilton, with all respect, he'll accept that he's probably number 4 on that list.
Have you heard about this fast bowlers cartel, the 140?
The 140 club?
Yeah. The fast bowlers cartel?
Yeah.
Would you sit into that one?
I've bowled 1 ball over 140 in my life, so I mean...
Well, no, I think you've got to consistently do it. Can you get yourself up to the cartel, perhaps? Get maybe a little bit more pace off the runner.
Just forget about the accuracy.
Just run in a bit harder.
A bit of a shuffler on the way. Maybe you can just put a bit more
run in a bit harder. And
I don't think it has to be in line. Just send it down there.
Yeah. Normally, if you bowl a full toss, it comes out a bit faster. So I might just start bowling like hand to heads. Yeah, that'll work.
Hudson Foot.
What's it like facing Lance in the nets?
The wild thing.
Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, he bowls 145 kilometers in the nets. It's horrible. And in the game, like, you get the perfect sight screen, you get the lights are on, like, everything is how it should be.
Yep.
In the nets, there's like, literally last week in the nets, I had to ask them to move a red tractor from behind the nets because, like, guys, there's literally a tractor like behind, and I'm facing Lance. Like, it's horrible.
Wild thing.
So he's just slinging them, or is it unpredictable?
No, he knows where they're going now, which is so much better than like 5 years ago, Lance Morris, when we were both up and coming. Because
the real wild thing.
That's brilliant. I enjoy his work a lot. Sam_dog.
Don't know where this one's going to go.
I feel like you might know Sam. I don't know either.
Where does the nickname Birdseed originate?
Yeah, the nickname's Budgie, but it originated from pre-season a long time ago. My first ever pre-season, I was like losing weight. just not eating enough, essentially. So the physio or the nutritionist looked in my lunchbox. I had had a lasagna, had like everything that I shouldn't really have, like to help me put on weight. And then I had some like a fruit and nut mix. So then like word got out that all he's been eating is bird food.
That's good.
So
that's good. That's very good.
Budgie.
Second half.
That's died down a bit now. Like,
okay, well, I'm sure this will definitely kill it.
Second half of that question is, have you ever received messages from someone you know on Facebook involving fungi that you'd like to discuss?
Yeah, I saw that question come through on the social media.
Okay. You don't have to discuss if you don't want to.
I think that dates back a very long time. I think the message was meant for a different Aaron and it came to me and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, very good.
Right.
Very good.
Okay.
Understood. Wardy85, go on.
Which teammate is the biggest pest?
Yeah, Andrew Ty is definitely the biggest pest.
Could see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. Shout out AJ. That's 3 mentions for you, mate. Put yourself in the bin now. BC?
Yeah, so lots of underscores. And look, you can say a teammate just to not get yourself in any sort of trouble.
Or you could just target someone.
Yeah. Who's your bunny bowler? The one that you know you're going to smack around.
Oh, the one I know I'm going to smack around.
Yeah.
Oh.
Give him a 4th mention.
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't throw anyone else from any other team under the bus.
Yeah, no,
just get
that's
me out
fine.
next time.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll leave that one.
Okay.
Let it go to the keeper.
And the last one here.
What about? No, hang on. I'm not going to let you get away.
I couldn't get away that easy.
Like, do some of the batters get a bowl like in the nets? Like, do some of the boys like come in and just roll the arm, like a couple of tweakers, like throw them down there, and you just sit there and just smack sixes off them? Or maybe a coach.
Yeah, one of the batting coaches, like you can normally get in at the end of a session when like he's been throwing balls for a couple hours, and you just go to town on him. Like he's tired, he just wants to get out of there.
Yeah.
So Bo Casson.
Shout out, Bo. Last one or second last one from Jaden.
Jaden Ellis. It's that guy over there. How do I stop getting out for a duck?
Jaden's got all the gear.
Yeah, all the gear.
I've just seen his bag. His boy's kit bag in today. He's
Probably
got
wants the signature and all
beautiful grey nickels. He's got his pads. He's got his.
I think he's a wicket keeper as well.
Look at $1 million. Can't make a run. Can you?
One way to guarantee not getting a duck is spend your Saturday at the Cottesloe Beach Hotel and not playing cricket. That's the answer.
See you, Jaden. Wrap it up, mate. Retire. That is very good. Last question, of course, is from the Eggman.
How does Aaron Hardie like his eggs?
Oh, yes. I am poached.
Poached.
With some avocado and sourdough would be nice.
All right.
Okay.
I'll take that on board. Mate, good luck for the summer. Good luck. Make sure, if you don't already, you go and get your Scorchers tickets. December 15 will be there. Aaron will be coming in at 3, smacking you some catches in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
No, but in all seriousness, mate, thanks for coming in for a chat.
Thanks, boys.
And good luck for your future aspirations. I want to see you with a baggy green next time I see you. BackChat _ on socials. Brought to you by Paywise today, of course. ID Athletic, Whippersnapper Whisky, Mamba Digital, TABtouch, Shelter Brewing Co, Leaderville Precinct, Camera Electronic, Mamba Digital, which has got another little lick as well.
Yes.
Those fine West End Plumbing looking after us as well. And, of course, the Perth Scorchers for putting this all together for us. Thank you very much. Good day.